Lots to talk about today. What are we going to pick next? The UK Home Office has served a notice on Apple. This is really strange. I remember David Cameron talking about we've got to end encryption, and then somebody said, people's passwords, their bank accounts, their phones. Do you really want to sort of open encryption? I'm fascinated by this sort of demanding lawful access to encrypted content. Now, as an engineer, I know that Apple, unless they're bullshitting all of us, are going to have to develop new software, new phones that allow breakability, because not even Apple employees can get into your data. Quite right too. They'd be accused of all sorts. But you raise this sort of what do you think about this? Do you think this is a goer? Do you think this is realistic?
Can't really see it working out for anyone in this scenario. The difficulty is that the notice is served under the Investigatory Powers Act, the UK law. So it's a secret notice. Nobody knows what it says, and it's only been reported on because somebody leaked it. But so we don't know the detail of this case. However, you're right, encrypted content is encrypted. And if Apple are saying we can't see the content in this service, they're probably right.
Well, there are tools to decrypt it, obviously, for the user. You do WhatsApp.
When it's on your phone.
It's decrypted. And obviously it would be nice to be able to snoop on everybody. But then you get a bad actor on the good guy's side, and they can go in and look at everything to do with their bank manager and whatever.
Well, what I feel is like, you're right. It has to be encrypted for the user to see it, but that's where it's end-to-end encrypted. So Apple in the middle don't get to see it. So what's the government after? What are all governments after? This is a repeating cycle. It's been going on for 25 years or more since the Clipper chip incident.
Why are we still having this circular argument? I don't understand.
Well,
is
it dumb? And it's a bit like saying to me, Lucian, I want you to produce leprechauns from your house. Well, I'm going to have to re-engineer my house to produce a load of leprechauns because I don't actually do that at the moment. Is there actually a backdoor there?
It's really hard to know because nobody wants to talk about it and everything is couched in national security. And so it's really hard to know what's really going on here. So the fact we're having another iteration of this, I think that either there's some element of law that we're not aware of, and in the US there's a whole bunch of secret law around this, or there's been a change in the technology which is now being pushed again, and it's going on behind the scenes, but something is going on. They can't literally be having the exact same conversation. So they're pushing again somewhere, and Apple is pushing back again. But I do think the only way to resolve this properly is like actual adults, which is to have an open conversation about this and say, what access should the government have access to? What data should it have access to in order to keep us safe? And have that conversation rather than this peculiar roundabout that we have right now.
And then you develop open and transparent processes, and you develop actual software and hardware systems that allow that.
And it is like your leprechauns example. Sort of if you get stuck in a vicious cycle of decrypt this, no, you love criminals, no, you love.
It's very polarized.
Yeah, it's just totally and everyone loses. And instead, we've got to reframe the conversation because we know, like with the global signal exchange, we are never discussing breaking encryption. We're discussing sharing things about links. Have you seen that link? Yeah, I've seen that link. And there's so much that you can actually collaborate with without getting into the stuff that's really sensitive, really pointless. You're never going to win that conversation. And a curious aspect of these is that we never see Apple.
My next question to you, because you were asked on the BBC last week to comment on this, and you were actually saying, but if this is indicative of not a very friendly relationship between the government and Apple, wouldn't you say? And we go to a lot of tech conferences around security, and we're talking all the time to Google, Meta, Microsoft.
Yeah.
Where's Apple?
Apple not there. But you're right. The law, I looked at it, to serve this sort of notice, there's a whole load of steps that have to be gone through first. So first of all, the government have to engage with the provider and check that what they're asking for is technically feasible.
Yeah.
And they also have to also consult a technical committee, all sorts of steps. So how did those get done?
That's why I think there's Apple has made some
know.
change somewhere, and the government's seen an opportunity to stick an oar in.
Yeah.
That's what I think's happened.
Lots to talk about, and lots coming up. We're going to watch this Apple thing because it's going to roll and roll. And also, we really want to... Apple, if you're out there, come and talk to us. We'd love to sort of explore this more. Maybe you can come on the show. Now we've got Kit Boger and the likes of that on the show. The big guys are coming. Oh, there's Emily with Kit Boger last at the conference. So
Let's have Tim Cook next time.
We'll get Tim Cook from Apple. We've now had Kit Boger. And just so you know, that photo is real. It's not AI. And we do know Kit Boger, and he is a pal of ours. So, sorry for the long introduction last week, but actually, he's agreed to help us. I'm okay, babes. So before we go on to our next topic, which is actually, I think we're going to have fun with a little quiz about Safer Internet Day. But before that, it's time for our Tech Room 101.
Lucian Taylor, tell us your Tech Room 101.
What do I want to throw in the tech bin for the rest of its life? Well, you know me, I love it when I have a whinge. I love it when I've got something to complain about. So I'm gonna invert something that actually is my tech, something not Room 101 that I really love, which is touch pay, Oyster Cardy type stuff in London. I'm free. I can arrive in London. I don't have to. You've got to go to the window and you've got to buy a bloody thing. And immediately you arrive in London, the city of dreams, and you have a row with a guy who hates customers and just wants to make you feel awful.
Yeah.
But so you just like Harry Potter with a wand. In fact, we saw one once who'd put his chip on a wand, dressed as a wizard, and the gates opened for him. And actually, it was a touch pay card. It was absolutely brilliant. But anyway, this touch pay I went through with a wheelie case.
Yeah.
I went through with a wheelie case, and it went bang on my ribs.
Have
and
you
I was
had
like,
that?
and I was stuck in it, and I realised, and then they undid it. You shouldn't have done this, and you shouldn't have done that. And that just reminded me of the shopping thing last week, where it's like, you don't do it like that. And we got all of this internet mediated fantastic technology, which is fantastic, but they still miss out the human bit, And now at Ealing Broadway, everybody, warning, they're doing automatic punishment systems where they basically assault you. It's like being punched in the face for getting it wrong. I'm like, yeah, you feel upset with me because I've got something wrong. Take me to court, sue me, fine me, but do not punch me in the ribs. So that's going in my Tech Room 101 because it's a tech system, but now they've added automatic punishment. So
it's almost like it's not allowed to be really good.
No.
Some way of making it annoying.
How can we shitify this wonderful thing?
This is not public transport if it's not slightly miserable.
And if you don't get then 10 people telling you off loudly, so you've just got like, what happened now? You did it wrong.
I think that's the main reason the line's on the tube is so they can tell people off.
Yeah.
Behind the line. No one wants to be hit by a tube.
I think there's full agreement for my my Tech Room 101, and this is going to roll. And we'll come back to the Ealing Broadway problem.